Well, we were actually in this room, which is in the Dorset Gallery upstairs on the second floor of the museum. And the group were particularly interested in looking at watercolour paintings. So we actually we found a lot of different watercolours from different artists, including Henry Moule and various other artists that we have in the museum. And then this one, we just happened to put this on the table, and this one they just absolutely loved, the group loved this particular painting. There was this sense of like everybody going, oh, that's it, that's the one. And they were all of them drawn to this particular painting. Well, the group have been coming to the museum every week, so once a week, every week, to just sit quietly and do art within the galleries. So they kind of use the museum for sort of therapeutic reasons, really. So they've been doing colouring and watercolour paintings very recently, but also they've been doing various embroidery projects that we've done with them at the museum. Alongside other projects, including sunflowers, which we did for a project that went into the museum window at the front of the museum for part of the Dorchester Summer of Sunflower project. So the group felt when they looked at this particular object, they looked at this particular painting, it instantly made them feel relaxed and soothed. And one group member said it was a bit like listening to music, and they could look at it all day because they felt that it was so relaxing. It was like listening to sort of classical music or music, and they enjoyed looking at it so much. Another group member said that it was the colours that particularly inspired them and sort of drew them in, and the sort of contrast, the bright yellow and the bright blue. Another group member said that it reminded them of Vincent van Gogh's paintings of the sunflowers, and they particularly liked that series, and it just reminded them of that. So the sort of personal connections to it were for enjoyment, really, and relaxation. I would definitely say there was a sense of happiness amongst the group when this painting was sort of revealed to them, and they all went, "Oh, that's amazing." And they did it a few times for some of the other paintings, but this one definitely won, I think. And this was obviously the one they chose. So I would say happiness. There was a sense of enjoyment, and a sort of sense of awe, and sort of the group was sort of really uplifted by it. So this object is a painting by an artist called Elsie Barling, who we have quite a large collection of Elsie Barling's work in the museum. And in particular, we have one of her paintings called Blue Pool, which is a beautiful turquoise coloured painting in the People's Dorset Gallery, amongst many other of her pieces, but that one we have on display currently. And so Elsie Barling was predominantly, well, she was an art teacher, but also an artist, and she was friends with quite a well-known artist called Frances Hodgkins as well. And she moved to Dorset, her connection with Dorset is that she moved here in the 1940s, and she was a teacher at Bryanston School. And she taught a very well-known artist called John Craxton, who described her as a very inspired teacher. And I think she inspired many pupils along the way, and then continued to paint and travel. And a lot of her paintings are about landscape and various kind of scenes and still lifes, and mainly kind of landscape and buildings as well. So that's really her sort of connection to Dorset, and that's why we have quite a large collection of her work in the museum. Um, just more that I think it's always quite amazing, really, how important art is to people, and how um, it can provide so much enjoyment for people. And I think this group in particular, you see this with the work, the artwork that they do when they visit the museum, but also the fact that they, you know, really responded to this and really enjoyed seeing it and how it made them feel was so really important. And I think it just kind of highlights the importance of art for people in general.